Close your eyes and let the weight of the modern world dissolve into the salt-crusted air of the ancient Aegean Sea. We are not here tonight to witness the roar of Troy or the clashing of bronze shields that you have so often read about in the dusty pages of history books. Instead, I am taking you behind the veil of the myth, back to a quiet, sun-drenched courtyard in Phthia, where a young boy named Achilles is watching the stars, entirely unaware that his name will echo through the halls of time for 3,000 years. Tonight, you are not a student of history, but a silent witness to a life lived with extraordinary depth and a heart that beat with the same rhythms of love and longing as our own. We will wander together through the silver-leaved olive groves where he once ran as a child, feeling the crunch of the dry earth beneath our feet, and we will breathe in the cool, divine mist of the sea where his mother, the silver-footed nymph Thetis, once sang him to sleep with melodies so ancient they could calm the roughest tides of the Mediterranean. This is the story of a son, a beloved friend, and a man who chose a brief, brilliant life of meaning over a long, forgotten existence in the shadows. As the distant, phantom echoes of ancient lyres begin to play in the quiet corners of your mind, notice how your breathing naturally slows to match the rhythmic, eternal pulse of the waves against the shore. There is no battle for you to fight tonight. There are no walls to scale and no enemies to face. There is only a long-lost peace waiting to be rediscovered in the cradle of the past. You are safe here, tucked away in the amber light of a world that was already old when our civilization was young. Allow your muscles to soften and yield, as if you are reclining on the warm white sands of a forgotten Greek shore, where the only task required of you is to simply listen and let go. We are moving now toward a profound and heavy stillness, a place where the physical body finally surrenders its burdens, and the spirit begins its long journey through the corridors of eternity. The air here is thick with the scent of wild thyme and cedarwood, a fragrance that has drifted through the centuries just to reach you in this moment of rest. Every word I speak is a step further away from the noise of the present, and a step closer to the velvet silence of the ancient world. You may feel a gentle pull, like a tide retreating from the land, drawing you into a state of blissful, quiet observation. The great heroes of old knew that even the most powerful warrior must eventually find his way back to the silence of the earth. As we prepare to delve into the life of the one they called the greatest of the Greeks, let that same silence wrap around you like a heavy, silken cloak. Feel the space around you expanding, turning into the vast, open sky of a Peloponnesian night where the stars are so bright they seem to hum with a secret light. This is your invitation to leave the shore of the waking world behind. There is a deep, resonant comfort in knowing that these stories have survived for millennia, whispered from generation to generation, just so they could find you tonight in your time of need. As the golden haze of history begins to settle over your thoughts, let your heart find its steady, healthy pace. Your mind is ready to wander, your body is ready to sink, and the ancient world is ready to reveal its most quiet secrets. We are standing at the threshold of a memory that belongs to the sea and the stars. Let the journey begin with a single, quiet breath as we step into the stillness that precedes the dawn of a hero. Moving into this sacred space of rest, we find ourselves becoming aware of the very ground beneath us, grounding our spirits before we take flight into the mythic past. As we stand at the threshold of this ancient story, let us first attend to the vessel that carries you through this life. Your body is the temple that will hold this journey, and right now, that temple deserves a moment of absolute, unconditional surrender. Close your eyes, if you have not already done so, and let the darkness behind your eyelids become a vast, private theater. Feel the immediate and honest weight of your frame as it presses down into the mattress beneath you. Notice the specific points of contact: the back of your head, the broad expanse of your shoulders, the curve of your spine, and the heavy pull of your heels. The bed is firm, reliable, and perfectly capable of holding every ounce of your physical being. You do not need to hold yourself up anymore. You do not need to be ready for action or prepared for a challenge. For the first time today, let the gravity of the earth do all the work for you. Imagine that with every passing second, you are becoming slightly heavier, sinking like a smooth stone into the soft silt of a riverbed. There is a profound relief in this sinking, a sense of returning to a natural state of rest that the world so often asks us to ignore. In the silence of this moment, bring your awareness to the room around you. Even with your eyes closed, you can sense the boundaries of your sanctuary. Imagine the air in the room as a cool, still liquid that flows around you, undisturbed and peaceful. There is a unique texture to the silence here. It is not empty, but full of the potential for deep, restorative rest. In your mind's eye, trace the familiar shapes of your surroundings. Think of the dresser nearby, the grain of the wood, and the cool touch of the objects resting upon it. Consider the floor beneath the bed, solid and unmoving, supporting the weight of your world without a single sound. The air you breathe is recycled and clean, moving in and out of your lungs with a steady, effortless cadence that requires no conscious thought. You are perfectly placed in time and space. There is nothing in this room that requires your attention, no shadow that needs investigating, and no sound that requires a response. You are an anchor in a sea of stillness, tethered only to the present moment and the gentle vibration of my voice as it travels through the quiet. Now, I want you to realize a very simple, yet very powerful truth. Right here, in this darkness, you have absolutely no obligations. The world outside this room may be spinning with demands and deadlines, but those things cannot reach you here. They belong to a different version of you, a version that is currently off duty. You are not a worker, you are not a problem solver, and you are not a guardian of others' expectations. By simply lying here and allowing these words to drift over you, you are doing exactly what you need to do. You are performing the most essential task of all. You are giving back to yourself. Simply listening is enough. Merely breathing is a success. You have permission to let the to-do lists of the mind dissolve into the shadows like ink in water. There is no reward for staying awake, and there is no penalty for drifting off. You are held in a state of grace where the only requirement is your own comfort. Let that realization wash over you like a warm wave, softening the edges of your thoughts and hushing the persistent whispers of the day. Bring your focus now to the physical landscape of your face, where the remnants of the day's expressions often linger unseen. Start with your jaw. We carry so much unspoken weight in the hinge of the jaw. So let it go now. Let it drop slightly, creating a small space between your teeth, allowing the muscles in your cheeks to go limp and soft. Feel that relaxation spread upward to the tiny, intricate muscles around your eyes, the ones that squint at screens and focus on the distant horizon. Let them smooth out as if a gentle hand is passing over your brow, erasing every line of tension and every trace of worry. Your forehead becomes wide and cool, like a placid lake at dawn. The scalp loosens, the ears relax, and even the tongue rests heavily in the mouth. This softness begins to migrate downward, flowing like warm honey into your neck and through the tops of your shoulders. Each breath you take acts as a broom, sweeping away the dust of stress, leaving behind a hollow, clean, and peaceful interior. You are becoming a silhouette of pure relaxation, a shadow resting within a shadow. As this heaviness settles deep into your bones, feel the transition from the physical to the ethereal. You are so well grounded now, so deeply anchored into your bed, that your mind is finally free to unmoor itself. The walls of your room are beginning to feel less like barriers and more like thin veils. shimmering in the moonlight. You are prepared to look beyond the immediate and the tangible. Imagine that in the center of your mind there is a tall, elegant window made of ancient, hand-blown glass. Outside that window, the landscape of the modern world has vanished, replaced by a horizon of deep indigo and the faint rhythmic sound of a distant sea. The air that drifts through this mental window smells of salt, wild herbs, and the cooling stones of a civilization that understood the language of dreams. You are standing at the edge of a great transition, ready to step out of your physical form and into the flowing river of a story that has waited thousands of years to find you again. Look beyond the glass now. Leave the heavy body behind on its soft altar of rest and prepare to meet the water that flows between the worlds. Observe how the light outside this window is not the harsh light of day, but a soft bioluminescent glow that seems to pulse with the very heart of the earth. This is the light of the subconscious, the light of myth, and it is beckoning you forward. Your limbs are so heavy now, they feel as though they are part of the earth itself, rooted and unmoving, providing the perfect platform for your consciousness to take flight. You are safe, you are supported, you are deeply, profoundly relaxed. The silence of the room has merged with the silence of the ancient world, creating a bridge made of starlight and memory. On the other side of this glass lies the realm of the nymphs and the heroes, a place where the water holds the secrets of the future and the past. As you prepare to cross this threshold, feel one last surge of gratitude for this stillness, for this heavy body that allows you to dream so deeply. The window is open, the path is clear, and the liquid portal is waiting to receive you. We leave the room, we leave the day, and we step into the shimmering mist of the Aegean night. Every cell of your being is vibrating at the frequency of peace, a hum that matches the distant tide. You are ready to transcend the physical and become part of the narrative, a ghost in the halls of history, floating effortlessly toward the first light of a Greek dawn. The glass is no longer a barrier. It is an invitation to drift, to sink, and to remember. Beyond the hand-blown glass of your mind's window, the indigo night is alive with a soft, pulsing mystery. As you watch from the safety of your stillness, a small point of light begins to coalesce in the darkness. It is not a star, nor is it a reflection, but something far more tactile and strange. It is a perfect, weightless sphere of water suspended in the air, like a pearl of the cosmos. This orb is crystal clear, yet it seems to hold the bioluminescence of 1,000 deep-sea creatures, glowing with a faint, rhythmic azure light. It does not fall. It drifts, caught in a gentle, invisible current that brings it closer to the glass. You watch, mesmerized, as the sphere begins to vibrate softly, its surface rippling in perfect concentric circles that never break. It is a piece of the ocean that has forgotten the rules of gravity, a wandering drop of the primordial sea, seeking to reconnect with you. There's something deeply comforting about its presence, an ancient intelligence that speaks of tides, moonbeams, and the beginning of all things. As the orb glides toward you, passing effortlessly through the veil between worlds, it brings with it a sound, a low, peaceful, wobbling noise that resonates in the very center of your chest. It is the sound of a subterranean river, the muffled heartbeat of a distant tide, and the soft hum of a shell held close to the ear. The noise is steady and hypnotic, a liquid frequency that seems to align with your own slowed heartbeat. As it moves through the air, the orb shifts and stretches, its shape changing like a slow-motion dream. It is a living geometry of peace. You can see the way the light bends within it, capturing the starlight and twisting it into ribbons of silver and gold. It moves with a deliberate, loving slowness, as if it has all the time in the world to reach you. The closer it gets, the more the air in your room begins to feel charged with a soft, humid energy, like the atmosphere of a tropical greenhouse at midnight. Now, The sphere is mere inches from your brow. You expect it to be cold, perhaps like the icy depths of a mountain lake. But as it draws nearer, you realize with a surge of relief that the water is radiating a profound, deep warmth. It is not the heat of a fire, but the embrace of a soothing hot spring hidden deep within a cavern of volcanic stone. This warmth is ancient and maternal, a temperature that feels like a homecoming. It is the exact warmth of the sun-baked stones of Greece, or the heated currents that follow the path of the Gulf Stream. This liquid portal is not here to drown or to dampen. It is here to cleanse and to carry. It holds the memory of every healing bath and every warm rain that has ever fallen on the earth. The glow it casts upon your closed eyelids is soft and inviting, a pale blue invitation to let the last remnants of the day be washed away by this divine element. The moment of contact is a revelation. The orb touches the center of your forehead, and instead of splashing or breaking, it begins to flow over you like a silken veil. It is a weightless liquid, a substance that feels both present and ethereal. As it moves across your temples and down your cheeks, every remaining knot of tension in your muscles simply evaporates. The water is so soft, it feels like it is made of velvet and light. It travels down your neck, over your collarbones, and across the broad expanse of your torso, following the natural contours of your heavy body. Wherever the water touches, the skin becomes cool and warm at the same time, a paradox of pure comfort. It feels as though the water is not just on you, but moving through you, rinsing the tired cells of your being and replacing the static of the world with the clarity of the deep. You are being baptized in the history of the world, bathed in the very water that once held the gods themselves. As the liquid envelops you, you feel yourself becoming lighter, as if the bed beneath you has turned into a cloud of sea foam. The boundaries of your physical self are blurring, melting into the warm blue glow of the orb. You are no longer just a person in a room. You are a part of the great, shifting ocean of time. The weight of your limbs, which felt so grounded a moment ago, now feels like it belongs to the buoyancy of the deep. You are floating in a state of perfect equilibrium, suspended between the now and the long ago. The room is faded into a memory, and the silence is now the vast, echoing quiet of the underwater world. You are safe in this liquid cocoon, protected by a barrier of warmth and light that no worry can penetrate. You are ready to be carried by the current, to let the tide of the narrative take hold of your spirit and pull you toward the horizon of the past. The warmth of the water is now a steady hum in your ears, a lullaby of the abyss. As you drift further into this state of enchantment, the indigo darkness of your room begins to dissolve, replaced by a soft, pearlescent mist. You can smell the sharp, invigorating scent of salt spray and the sweet, earthy fragrance of damp sand. The air is growing brighter, infused with the first tentative light of a prehistoric dawn. The liquid portal has done its work. It has transported you from the concrete and the steel of the modern day to the limestone and the brine of the ancient Aegean. You can hear the rhythmic lap of waves against a pebbled shore, a sound that has not changed in 10,000 years. We are traveling back now, moving through the layers of fog and memory toward the misty shores where the story of the hero began. The water is receding, leaving you standing on the edge of a world made of myth and starlight, where the nymph Thetis is waiting to reveal the secrets of the sea. The horizon is glowing with a pale, silver light, and the first notes of a sea nymph's song are beginning to rise with the morning tide. You are there now, anchored in the ancient world, ready to witness the beginning of everything. Before we meet the hero, we must meet the heart from which he came, the silent origin of his strength and the gentle source of his spirit. Our story begins in the silver blue depths of the Aegean, not with the clash of swords or the shouting of kings, but with the soft, melodic hum of a sea nymph named Thetis. She was a daughter of the ancient sea god Nereus, one of the 50 Nereids who lived in the luminous grottos far beneath the churning white foam of the waves. But while her sisters often played in the bright spray of the cresting tides or danced upon the backs of dolphins, Thetis was a creature of profound empathy and quiet observation. She was a being of fluid grace, her skin holding the pearlescent sheen of a polished conch shell, and her hair flowing behind her like dark silk through the salt water. To the gods on high Olympus, she was a figure of ethereal, distant beauty, but to the small, silent creatures of the deep, she was something far more precious. She was a protector. She understood the secret language of the underwater currents and the ancient stories held in the silent, sandy trenches of the ocean floor. Her spirit was as vast as the unobstructed horizon, and as rhythmic as the tides that have governed the world since the first moon rose. Thetis spent her eternal, peaceful days wandering the misty border where the cool water meets the sleeping land. You can imagine her now, drifting along the shoreline at that magical, liminal hour when the sun has not yet broken the horizon and the world is painted in delicate shades of charcoal, slate, and lavender. She would forage along the jagged, salt-licked rocks, looking not for gold or sunken jewels, but for the small, broken things that the sea had cast aside in its restlessness. She moved through the heavy morning fog like a ghost of pure kindness, her voice rising in a low, wordless song that harmonized perfectly with the rhythmic, deep thrum of the breaking waves. This song was not meant for human ears or the vanity of kings. It was a lullaby for the ocean itself, a way of smoothing the jagged edges of the world. As she walked, the wet sand would yield softly beneath her feet, and the cool spray of the salt water would cling to her skin like a second, invisible veil. There was a deep, meditative slowness to her life, a cycle of gathering and giving that mirrored the eternal, slow inhale and exhale of the sea. In an age where the gods were often known for their volatile tempers and their thundering demands, Thetis was a rare and quiet sanctuary of compassion. There is a story, often whispered by the waves to the shore, of the time when the master smith Hephaestus was cast down from the heights of Olympus, falling through the endless, terrifying sky toward the unforgiving surface of the water. It was Thetis who watched his descent with eyes full of pity, and it was she who reached out her silken, powerful arms to catch him before he struck the depths. She did not see a failed god or a broken creature. She saw a soul in need of rest. She carried him deep into her hidden underwater grotto, a place of soft, emerald moss and glowing, ancient coral, where the harsh noise of the upper world could never reach. For 9 long years, she sheltered him there, tending to his injuries with the healing minerals of the deep and keeping him safely tucked away from the judgments of the heavens. She gave him the space to breathe and the tools to create beauty from his pain, watching over him with the steady, unwavering patience of a mother. To be in her presence was to be truly seen and to be truly safe. This act of selfless mercy defined the very essence of her soul. Her life was a long, beautiful succession of moments spent watching the golden light filter through the turquoise canopy of the waves. She found a quiet joy in the smallest details of the world. The way a tiny seahorse clung to a blade of eelgrass, the intricate, mathematical patterns of a starfish, and the way the midnight moon danced on the surface of the water like 1,000 silver coins scattered by a generous hand. To be near her was to feel a total and absolute absence of fear. She was the safe harbor in every rising storm, the steady, cool hand in the churning darkness. The rhythm of her world was slow and predictable, governed by the ancient silver laws of the moon. Time did not march forward for Thetis in a straight, aggressive line. Instead, it swirled in gentle, comforting eddies, returning always to a state of equilibrium and profound peace. She was content in her hidden kingdom, a spirit of the water who asked for nothing but the freedom to love the world in silence and to protect the light wherever she found it. As you listen to the description of her world, feel that same maternal warmth wrapping around you now, like a heavy velvet cloak. Thetis is the archetype of the protector, and her calming energy is infused into every word and every breath of this story. You are like the weary traveler, or like Hephaestus himself, being caught in a soft net of silver mist and carried away from the falling, heavy sensations of your day into a grotto of absolute crystalline safety. The air around you is turning into that same cool, salt-scented fog that Thetis breathed as she walked the prehistoric shores of ancient Greece. The rhythmic, distant sound of the waves in the story is becoming one with the rhythm of your own heart, a steady rise and fall that anchors you to this moment of peace. You are submerged in a history that is kind, a memory that is soft, and a lineage of protection that stretches back to the very dawn of time itself. You are held, you are watched over, you are permitted to drift, but even the deepest, most silent grotto cannot stay hidden forever from the piercing eyes of those who dwell in the high, bright places of the world. Thetis was a jewel of the ocean, a secret light that began to shine too brightly through the surface of the water, catching the attention of the powerful, restless beings who ruled the sky from their golden throne. On the shimmering peaks of Mount Olympus, the high gods began to look downward, their curiosity piqued by the nymph who walked the mist with such effortless grace. They saw her beauty, but they could not truly comprehend her peace. They saw her power, but they did not yet know the ancient prophecy that lay dormant within her, waiting like a seed in the dark earth to be awakened by the touch of fate. The gaze of the heavens was becoming heavy and piercing, and the long, quiet age above. The sea nymph's solitude was drawing to an inevitable close. The tides were beginning to shift, pulling the story away from the lonely, mist-covered shores and toward a destiny that would change the course of human history forever. A new wind was blowing across the Aegean, carrying with it the sharp scent of change and the unavoidable approach of the gods who would change everything. The peace of the water was about to meet the fire of the sky. As the silver mist of the grotto swirls around your consciousness, the story begins to lift from the cool sea and rise toward the golden, crystalline heights of Mount Olympus. Even in the ancient world, where beauty was a common currency, the grace of Thetis was whispered about in the great echoing halls of the high gods. Her light was so pure, so untainted by the petty grievances of the earth, that it caught the eyes of the two most powerful beings in all of existence. Zeus, the king of the gods and the absolute master of the thundering sky, looked down from his ivory throne and felt a rare, quiet yearning in his immortal chest. Beside him, his brother Poseidon, the ruler of the vast and unpredictable oceans, felt the same magnetic pull. Both brothers, whose mere whims could shatter mountain ranges or swallow entire islands beneath the waves, desired to claim the sea nymph as their own. The very air of the world grew heavy and thick with the tension of their rivalry, a cosmic stillness that felt like the breathless moment before a great storm breaks. It seemed as though the fabric of the universe itself might tear under the weight of their competing desires. For when gods of such magnitude clash, the foundations of the earth tremble and the stars themselves dim in anticipation. Yet, in the midst of this divine longing, a voice emerged from the deepest reaches of time, a voice that carried the chill of the distant stars and the unyielding truth of the fates. It was Prometheus, the titan of foresight, who spoke a prophecy that froze the hearts of the Olympians where they stood. He revealed a secret that had been woven into the tapestry of the world since the very beginning, that the son born of Thetis was destined to be greater than his father. This was not a mere suggestion of talent or a hope of strength. It was a fundamental law of destiny written in the stars. If a god were to father a child with her, that child would eventually rise to eclipse the power of the father. perhaps even toppling the golden throne of Olympus itself. The words of Prometheus hung in the air like a cold iron bell, echoing through the marble pillars and the cloud-ringed peaks. The grandeur of the gods, usually so absolute and unshakable, was suddenly haunted by the long shadow of their own obsolescence. They realized, with a sudden and humbling clarity, that their desire for beauty was eclipsed by their primal terror of being replaced. The reaction of the great gods was not one of anger, but of a slow, retreating awe. For the first time in an eternity, the mighty brothers found themselves in silent agreement, moved not by love, but by the instinct to survive. Zeus, with his lightning bolts held loosely in his grip, slowly looked away from the sea. Poseidon, whose trident could stir the deepest, darkest abyss, lowered his gaze to the floor of the heavens. They retreated into the shadows of their own magnificence, choosing the safety of their crowns over the warmth of the Nymph. The ocean grew calm again, and the sky cleared of its thunderous clouds. But the weight of the prophecy remained, drifting like a heavy, fragrant smoke over the world. The gods decided that Thetis must never be wed to a divine being. To protect the eternal order of the heavens, she was to be given to a mortal, a noble king of men, but a man nonetheless. It was a calculated, quiet move to ensure that her son, however great he might become, would still be bound by the fleeting, fragile, and beautiful nature of human life. And so, the sea nymph was led away from the turquoise grottos and the silent company of the gods to be wed to Peleus, the king of the Myrmidons. Peleus was a man of noble spirit and weathered wisdom, a mortal who understood the value of the earth, the scent of the rain, and the slow passage of the seasons. Their union was a bridge between the eternal and the ephemeral, a meeting of the salt spray and the solid stone. Thetis accepted this fate with the same fluid, quiet grace she had always shown, bringing the coolness of the sea into the sun-baked marble halls of the human palace. Though she was a bride of the earth now, she never truly lost the scent of the deep, and her eyes still held the reflection of the infinite blue horizon. The grandeur of the prophecy did not fade with her marriage. It simply changed its shape, moving from the golden thrones of the sky to the humble cradles of the earth. The entire world waited in a state of breathless anticipation, for the cosmic gears had been set in motion, and the path was being cleared for a new kind of power. Feel the weight of this destiny settling around you now, not as a burden, but as a warm, protective layer of history that shields you from the present. The awe of the gods has passed, leaving behind a profound and heavy silence that is perfect for deep, restorative sleep. You are resting in the peaceful aftermath of a great decision, in the quiet space where the divine meets the human. The air in your room seems to hold that same ancient, storied quality as stillness that is charged with the soft potential of what is to come. As the story of the wedding of Peleus and Thetis fades into the background, a new light begins to emerge in the darkness. It is a light that is both mortal and immortal, a star that is destined to burn with a brightness that the world will never forget. From the union of the sea and the land, a child was born, a child whose name would eventually become a synonym for glory, and whose life would be a testament to the enduring power of a mother's love. Achilles was born into this world as a creature of two realms, carrying the prophecy in his very blood and the rhythm of the tides in his heart. He was the star that the heavens feared and the earth adored. As you drift closer to the very edge of sleep, imagine the first soft cry of this child echoing through the halls of Phthia, a sound that signaled the beginning of a completely new age. The prophecy had finally found its vessel, and the journey of the hero had truly begun. The transition is complete. We have moved from the lofty desires of the gods to the tender reality of a new life. The air is soft, the bed is steady, and the story is pulling you deeper and deeper into the golden age of heroes. Achilles is here, a small breathing miracle wrapped in the arms of the nymph, and the world is forever changed by his arrival. We move now from the weight of the prophecy to the profound tenderness of his first nights, as we prepare to see just how far a mother will go to keep her star from fading into the night. Your mind is calm, your spirit is light, and the hero is born. The palace of Phthia is silent now, bathed in the silver-blue glow of a waning moon that hangs like a curved ivory blade over the sleeping world. Deep within the heart of the stone halls, the air is perfectly still, carrying only the faint, rhythmic breathing of the household as they drift in the tides of midnight. But for Thetis, the sea nymph who carries the heavy weight of a divine prophecy in her heart, there is no sleep to be found. She watches over her infant son, Achilles, as he lies in his cradle, a small and fragile spark of life in a world that she knows, with an immortal's clarity, can be cruel beyond measure. The prophecy of the Titan, Prometheus, haunts her every waking moment, the terrifying knowledge that her son is destined for a glory that burns bright, but ends far too soon. To a mother of the sea, who has lived for eons watching the unchanging eternal tides, the thought of her son's life being as fleeting as a summer breeze is an agony she cannot bear to accept. As the midnight hour strikes, she gathers the child into her silken arms, wrapping him in a cloak of deep shadows, and slips out of the palace. She moves with a fluid, supernatural grace, her feet barely touching the cool marble floors as she disappears into the charcoal-colored night. The air outside is crisp and invigorating, smelling of wild sage and the damp, earthy scent of the coming dawn. Thetis does not head toward the familiar, welcoming shores of her home. Instead, she turns her gaze toward the jagged mountains that hide the secret, ancient entrances to the world below. She carries Achilles through the silver olive groves, their leaves shimmering like ghost fire in the pale moonlight. As she walks, the world seems to grow quieter and quieter, the sounds of crickets and night birds fading into the distance until there is only the soft, rhythmic hush of her own breathing and the tiny, contented sighs of the sleeping babe in her arms. They reach the mouth of a hidden cave, a yawning portal of ancient stone draped in thick emerald moss and weeping vines that have seen the passing of centuries. This is a place where the boundary between the living and the eternal is paper thin, a passage that leads away from the sun-drenched earth and into the velvet, silent embrace of the underworld. Thetis enters without a moment of hesitation, her divine light casting a soft, pulsing glow against the damp limestone walls that seem to breathe with the mountain. The journey downward is a descent into a profound and beautiful stillness that defies description. The air here is not cold in a way that bites, but holds a perfect, unchanging coolness that feels like a soothing balm against the weary skin. You can imagine the sound of water dripping from the unseen ceiling of the cavern, a slow, musical tink-tink that echoes through the vast subterranean chambers, like the ticking of a cosmic clock. As they move deeper, the darkness becomes more absolute, a rich and heavy texture that seems to cradle them like a physical presence. Thetis walks through galleries of shimmering crystals and frozen stone waterfall, her path illuminated by the bioluminescent fungi that cling to the rocks like fallen stars or glowing embers. This is the quietest place in the universe, a realm where time has no meaning and the noise of human history has not yet begun. Achilles remains fast asleep, his tiny face a portrait of absolute and unwavering trust, anchored by the familiar scent of his mother and the steady, ancient rhythm of her heart. Eventually, the path opens up into a cavern so vast that the ceiling is lost in a haze of violet mist and distant shadows. Before them lies the River Styx, the boundary of the unbreakable oath and the source of a power much older than the gods themselves. The water is not blue or green, but a deep, reflective obsidian, as smooth as a polished mirror and as silent as a secret kept for an eternity. It does not flow with the chaotic energy of a mountain stream. It moves with a slow, majestic purpose, its surface unruffled by any wind from the world above. There is a strange magnetic beauty to this river, a sense of finality and strength that commands an effortless and humble awe. Thetis stands on the pebbled shore, the dark water lapping gently at her feet in a rhythm that matches the slow rotation of the earth. She knows that this river has the power to burn away the fragility of the human flesh, to grant a mortal child the invulnerability of a god. It is a dangerous magic, a ritual of shadows and starlight. But for her son, she is willing to touch the very fabric of the eternal and risk the wrath of the fates. With a heart full of desperate hope and fierce maternal protection, Thetis prepares for the ritual that will change everything. She unwraps the infant, his small, warm body glowing like a soft coal in the cool, immense darkness of the underworld. She reaches down and grasps him firmly by his right heel, her fingers acting as the only bridge between his mortal vulnerability and the river's terrible power. Slowly, with a deliberate and agonizing gentleness, she lowers him into the obsidian depths of the Styx. The water is surprisingly warm, like a heavy, liquid silk that envelops his skin and welcomes him into its mystery. As he is submerged, the river does not pull at him with a current. Instead, it seems to recognize the divine blood within him, wrapping around his limbs like an invisible, indestructible suit of armor. In this moment, the silence of the cave is absolute, as if the universe itself has paused to witness the birth of a legend. The dark water seeps into every pore, strengthening the bone, toughening the skin, and weaving a web of protection that no blade of bronze or arrow of wood can ever hope to pierce. As she lifts him from the river, a miracle unfolds in the dim, violet light of the cavern. Achilles does not cry out in fear. Instead, he opens his eyes and offers a soft, knowing smile to the shadows that dance around them. His skin, once pale and delicate, now carries a faint golden sheen, a lingering glow from the river's depths that makes him look like a small star fallen to the earth. He looks vibrant, healthy, and possessed of a strange, serene strength that belies his tender age. The ritual is complete. He is now a creature of two worlds, a mortal boy with the indestructible hide of a god, destined to stand above all others. Thetis holds him close to her chest, her tears of relief falling like warm rain onto his glowing brow. She has given him the greatest gift a mother could offer, a shield against the world. Yet, as she looks down at the dry skin of his heel, the one tiny spot where her own hand had blocked the sacred water, a flicker of unease passes through her spirit like a cold wind. It is a tiny, hidden vulnerability, a reminder that even the greatest magic has its limits, and that the thread of fate can never be fully untwined. But for now, in the velvet quiet of the underworld, there is only peace and the scent of damp earth. Thetis wraps her son back in his cloak of shadows and begins the slow, rhythmic ascent back to the world of men. The golden glow of the child begins to fade, settling deep beneath the surface of his skin, waiting for the day it will be needed on the fields of battle. They emerge from the cave just as the first light of dawn is beginning to bleed across the Aegean, painting the sky in long streaks of rose, gold, and pale blue. The world is waking up, blissfully unaware that a hero has been forged in the darkness of the night. The palace of Phia reappears through the morning mist, solid and unchanging, a safe haven for the miracle she carries in her arms. This midnight ritual has anchored Achilles to a destiny of greatness, providing a temporary safety that will allow him to grow, to learn, and to love with all his heart before the world calls him to lead its armies. Feel the deep, resonant safety of this mystical protection settling over you now, like the warmth of a hearth in winter. Just as Achilles was dipped into the river of strength, you are being dipped into a river of restorative and deep sleep. The dark, warm waters of the Styx have washed away the anxieties and the noise of your day, leaving you with a golden sheen of peace that protects your mind from the chaos of the world. You are tucked away in the grotto of your own rest, held by the same maternal care and ancient wisdom that guided the nymph through the shadows of the cave. The air in your room is cool. The blankets are heavy and soft like the moss of the underworld, and the story is gently pulling you toward the sunny days of a hero's childhood. The ritual is finished, the protection is absolute, and the morning light is waiting to greet a boy who will one day shake the foundations of the world. But for now, he is just a child, and you are just a dreamer, both drifting in the beautiful silent wake of the midnight hour. We move away from the cave and the river, returning to the golden warmth of the sun and the beginning of a life lived in the light. Your breath is steady, your heart is calm, and the journey continues in the softest parts of your mind. The heavy violet mists of the underworld have fully receded now, replaced by the brilliant and unapologetic gold of a Greek summer that seems to stretch on for an eternity. In the long, peaceful years following the midnight ritual at the Styx, Achilles grows not as a cold weapon of war, but as a cherished child of the earth and the warm sun. These are the golden years of Phia, a sacred time when the world feels wide, safe, and infused with a gentle, humming magic. Imagine a landscape where the air is always perfectly warm and smells of wild honey, crushed pine needles, and the distant cooling salt of the turquoise sea. Achilles spends his days running through endless meadows of tall, swaying grass that reach up to his waist, his light-hearted laughter echoing against the white limestone cliffs. He is a creature of pure light and boundless energy, his movements possessed of a supernatural grace that speaks of his divine mother, yet his heart remains entirely, beautifully human. He learns the ancient secrets of the mountains from the wise centaur Chiron, discovering which wild herbs can heal a deep wound and how to read the hidden music found in the steady flow of a mountain stream. It is a time of absolute innocence, where the only clock is the slow movement of the sun across the wide sky, and the only duty is to explore the wonders of the natural world. It was during one of these endless sun-drenched afternoons that a new and vital thread was woven into the tapestry of his life, a thread that would eventually become the very core of his being. A young boy named Patroclus arrived at the court of Phia, an exile from a distant land, carrying the quiet, heavy weight of a troubled past in his weary eyes. Patroclus was different from the other boys of the court. He carried a unique stillness within him, a thoughtful and observant nature that mirrored the silent depth of the deep sea. When he and Achilles first met, there was no need for grand royal introductions or the competitive posturing of young princes. Instead, there was an immediate and profound recognition between them, as if two halves of a single ancient soul had finally found their way back to one another after centuries of searching. Achilles, with his radiant golden vibrance, and Patroclus, with his steady, quiet strength, became inseparable from that moment forward. They wandered the silver olive groves together, their shadows merging into one on the dusty, sun-warmed paths. They climbed the ancient oaks to watch the eagles soar through the thermals, and they dove into the cool, turquoise pools of hidden waterfalls, emerging breathless and grinning under the heavy heat of the afternoon sun. The bond between them was not merely one of simple friendship. It was a sanctuary and a home. In a world that would soon demand they be cold warriors and leaders of men, they allowed each other the precious freedom to simply be boys. They developed a private language of their own, a shorthand of subtle glances, shared smiles, and comfortable, long silences that no one else could ever hope to penetrate. While the other youths of the palace practiced with wooden swords and boasted loudly of future conquests and glory, Achilles and Patroclus would often sit quietly by the shore, skipping flat stones across the glass-like surface of the water and talking about the things that truly mattered to their hearts. They spoke of the eternal stars that watched over them at night, the strange, vivid dreams that visited them in the dark, and the inexplicable feeling that they were part of something much larger and more mysterious than themselves. There was a rare and beautiful honesty between them, a level of deep understanding that few people ever experience in a single lifetime. They were each other's mirrors, reflecting the very best parts of themselves back into the light, and in that soft reflection, they found a peace that surpassed all worldly understanding. As the great sun would begin its slow, majestic descent into the sea, painting the sky in bruised purples, fiery oranges, and soft pinks, the boys would return to the palace, tired and profoundly satisfied with the day. You can imagine them now, lying beneath the soft, cool linen covers of their shared quarters, the room smelling of dry cedar wood and the refreshing night air. The vast palace would grow quiet, the flickering torches in the stone hallways dim to a low amber pulse. In the absolute safety of this darkness, their conversations would turn to the great, unanswered mysteries of the world. They wondered if the gods truly cared for the small hearts of men, or if they were merely distant players in a grand cosmic game. They talked about the true nature of courage, realizing together that it was not the simple absence of fear, but the presence of deep love that truly made a man brave. These late-night whispers were the very foundation of a loyalty that would eventually shake the iron gates of Troy. They fell asleep to the rhythmic sound of each other's breathing, their minds drifting in the same slow current of dreams, anchored by the absolute certainty that as long as they were together, the world was a kind and beautiful place. This sense of deep nostalgia and pure, uncomplicated peace is now wrapping itself around you, much like the warm, woven blankets of Achilles' youth. Feel the weight of those golden, hazy afternoons settling into your own muscles, turning your limbs heavy, soft, and still. The memory of a friendship so pure and so steady acts as a healing balm for the mind, smoothing over the jagged, restless thoughts of your own day. You are resting in that sun-drenched meadow of Thea, where the grass is soft and welcoming beneath you, and the distant hum of the bees is a perfect lullaby for the spirit. There is no urgency here, no hidden conflict, and no reaching shadow. There is only the rhythmic, steady pulse of a life lived in perfect harmony with another soul. You are safe in the company of this memory, held by the same loyalty and warmth that defined the childhood of the hero. The world is quiet, the air is sweet with the scent of night-blooming jasmine, and the stars are beginning to emerge one by one in the velvet sky above. But as the years turned and the boys grew taller and stronger, the golden haze of their childhood began to thin slightly at the edges. Far across the wine-dark sea, in the gilded and ancient city of Troy, a choice was being made that would send ripples across every shore of the Aegean. The peace of Thea, once thought to be eternal and untouchable, was being slowly encroached upon by the distant, low drums of a gathering storm. The names of distant kings and the heavy demands of honor began to find their way into the quiet olive groves, carried by weary messengers on foaming horses. The shadow of the Trojan War was no longer just a ghost story told by old men around a fire. It was becoming a cold, hard reality that reached out its hand to claim the strength of a new generation. Achilles and Patroclus felt the shift in the wind, the way the air grew sharper and the sea grew restless and dark. The time of wandering the meadows and whispering under the covers was drawing to an inevitable close. The world was calling for the hero that had been forged in the silence of the Styx, and the star of Achilles was beginning to align with a destiny made of fire and bronze. The transition from the gold of youth to the steel of the future had already begun, and the world held its breath. As the distant, low-rolling drums of the Trojan War grow louder in the troubled minds of kings, the sea nymph Thetis feels a cold and familiar hand of dread tightening around her heart. She knows the ancient prophecy better than any mortal oracle. She knows with a mother's piercing clarity that if her beloved son joins this looming conflict, He will indeed win eternal glory, but his precious life will be extinguished like a candle caught in a sudden gale. Driven by a mother's desperate, quiet, and boundless love, she decides to hide her lion among the lilies of a distant court. In the dead of a moonless night, she carries Achilles away from the familiar, rugged halls of Phthia and across the sparkling midnight waters to the rocky and sun-drenched island of Skyros. Here, within the high walls of King Lycomedes' palace, she performs a strange, poetic, and clever deception. She dresses her golden son in the finest tunics of pleated linen and veils of shimmering, translucent silk, disguising him as one of the king's own daughters. To the eyes of the world, the greatest warrior of the age simply vanishes into the mist, replaced by a tall, graceful maiden with eyes like the shifting sea, hidden in plain sight within the domestic quiet of a remote kingdom. Life on the island of Skyros is a world away from the jagged mountains, the cold rivers, and the wooden practiced swords of his early youth. It is a place of lush, indoor gardens where the air is heavy and sweet, with the scent of crushed rose petals, sun-warmed stone, and expensive, drifting incense. Achilles, now living under the soft name of Pyrrha, finds himself immersed in a life of delicate art, quiet conversation, and rhythmic. Imagine him sitting in a vast sun-flooded gallery, surrounded by the gentle melodic chatter of the king's daughters, his large and powerful hands learning the intricate, repetitive dance of the loom. He learns the patient, meditative geometry of weaving, pulling fine silver threads through the warp and weft to create elaborate tapestries of birds, flowers, and peaceful landscapes. He spends long, quiet hours learning the subtle art of embroidery, the tiny, rhythmic sting of the needle, providing a strange and hypnotic focus for his restless spirit. The court is a place of soft music and gentle laughter, of long afternoons spent painting terracotta vases or arranging fragrant garlands of myrtle for the evening feast. It is a life of absolute and total softness, a silken cocoon designed specifically to muffle the distant call of destiny and keep the fire of his warrior spirit under a gentle, cooling shroud of anonymity. Yet, even beneath the weight of the finest Tyrian purple silks and the delicate jewelry of a princess, the heart of a true hero cannot be fully silenced or forgotten. While the other maidens of the court delight in the arrival of new shipments of gold trinkets or the heavy glass vials of sweet perfumes from the east, Achilles often finds his quiet gaze wandering toward the high arched windows of the palace. He participates in the ceremonial dances and the evening songs with a fluid, natural grace that mesmerizes those around him. But there remains a restless, coiled energy in his limbs that no amount of sewing or weaving can ever truly exhaust. Deep in the quietest, most solitary hours of the night, when the palace is draped in silver moonlight and the only sound is the rhythmic, eternal lap of the Aegean Sea against the cliffs far below, he feels the true weight of his hidden nature. His hands, though now skilled at the delicate loom, still twitch with the phantom memory of a heavy spear's balance and the rough grip of a shield. His ears, though filled with the delicate, plucked music of the lyre, still strain instinctively for the sharp sound of a distant trumpet or the rhythmic, thunderous thrum of a galloping horse across a plain. He is a predator resting in a garden of lilies, a mountain storm held captive in a fragile glass jar, waiting for a wind that he both deeply fears and secretly desires. In these rare moments of solitude, he often retreats into the golden, unchangeable landscape of his own memories to find a sense of grounding and peace. He closes his eyes and drifts back to the vast open meadows of his home in Phthia, feeling the rough, honest bark of the giant oak trees beneath his fingertips instead of the slick, artificial texture of silk. He imagines the cool, sharp mountain air of Chiron's ancient cave, smelling of damp earth, wood smoke, and wild herbs, a sharp and necessary contrast to the perfume, stagnant halls of Skyros. He thinks of Patroclus, wondering if his soul brother is looking at the same distant stars from a different shore, and if their shared dreams are still anchored in the same steady current of loyalty. These memories are his true sanctuary, a private place where he does not have to pretend, where the borrowed persona of the court falls away, and the true Achilles of the prophecy remains whole and untamed. He falls asleep, dreaming of the hunt, of the exhilarating chase through the high grass, and of the absolute crystalline clarity that comes only when one's purpose is perfectly aligned with the earth and the sky. The peace of Skyros is undeniably beautiful, but it is a fragile, borrowed peace, and the world outside is starting to knock loudly at the palace gate. Far away, across the churning waters, the great Greek fleet is gathering in its hundreds, and the kings of the mainland are searching desperately for the one man who can tip the iron scales of fate in their favor. They have heard persistent, whispered rumors of a tall golden maiden on the island of Skyros, a girl whose height, strength, and silent intensity seem entirely out of place among the gentle daughters of King Lycomedes. Among the searchers is Odysseus, the cleverest of all men, a master of disguises and a weaver of truths who knows instinctively that a lion can never truly hide its claws, no matter how much silk is draped over them. Odysseus does not come with a phalanx of soldiers or heavy demands. He comes with the subtle, irresistible power of temptation, knowing that the spirit of a hero can only be revealed by the things it loves and the tools it was born to wield. The very air on the island is beginning to change, growing sharper, colder, and more expectant, as if the stones of the palace themselves are waiting for the arrival of a final and inevitable choice. As you listen to the faint rustle of the silks and the quiet, domestic hum of the palace on Skyros, feel your own restlessness dissolving into the soft, layered textures of the story. You are safe within these high white walls, wrapped in the same protective mystery that shielded Achilles from the approaching storm. The world outside, with all its noise and its demands, can wait for another time. The pressures of the day are now nothing more than distant whispers that cannot penetrate the thick, protective layers of the silk. Let your mind wander freely through the perfumed gardens and the sun-drenched stone galleries, finding a place of absolute, quiet comfort. The mystery of the disguise is a soft, heavy blanket for your thoughts, allowing you to hide away from the noise of your own life for just a little while longer. The transition is slowly approaching, that pivotal moment where the jewel and the steel will finally meet. But for now, there is only the rhythmic, steady clatter of the loom and the cooling, purple shadows of the afternoon. We stay here, in the soft, golden center of the secret, as the clever Odysseus sails toward the rocky shore with a gift that will change everything. Your breath is slow, your muscles are heavy with rest, and the silk is as soft as the coming sleep. In the sun-drenched courtyard of King Lycomedes, a large wooden chest is set upon the cool marble tiles, its heavy lid thrown open to reveal the gathered treasures of the distant world. The daughters of the king gather around it like a flock of colorful birds, their slender fingers dipping into piles of shimmering emeralds, ropes of luminous white pearls, and delicate gold diadems that catch the brilliant morning light. Among them stands Pyrrha, the tallest and most graceful of the maidens, watching the display with a polite but clearly distant interest. But as the clever Odysseus watches from the shadows of the colonnade, a sudden, sharp trumpet blast echoes through the palace walls, a feigned alarm of an enemy attack. While the other girls shriek and scatter in a panicked blur of silk and perfume, the tall maiden does not move toward the exit. Instead, her eyes ignite with a sudden, ancient, and terrifying fire. Ignoring the piles of jewels and the fine silks, her hands move with the lightning instinct of a hawk, reaching deep into the very bottom of the chest to seize the heavy, breathtaking weapons hidden beneath the finery. As her fingers close around the cold hilt of a bronze sword and the heavy rim of a great shield, The disguise of the last few months simply dissolves into the air. The silk is no longer a sanctuary. It is a cage that has finally been broken, and the lion has found his claws. The moment Achilles grips the cold steel, a profound and heavy psychological satisfaction ripples through the entire courtyard. It is the sound of a key finally turning in a long rusted lock, the feeling of a great river finally finding its way back to the deep, eternal sea. There is no more pretending, no more sewing, and no more whispers in the dark. He stands tall, the pleated linen falling away to reveal the powerful, sun-bronzed shoulders of a man forged in the silent Styx and tempered by the ancient mountain. Odysseus steps forward, not with a weapon, but with a nod of deep and knowing respect. The choice has been made, not by outside force, but by the irresistible and divine pull of a soul fulfilling its own singular destiny. Achilles does not look back at the palace or the life of soft shadows he is leaving behind on the island of Skyros. His gaze is fixed permanently on the horizon, toward the wine-dark sea where his future waits in the form of 1,000 Greek ships. The weight of the bronze sword in his hand feels significantly lighter than any silk he has ever worn, for it is the weight he was always meant to carry from the moment of his birth. The news of the hero's return spreads through the Greek camp like a wildfire through dry summer grass, bringing with it a renewed and thunderous hope. Achilles is no longer a hidden secret or a ghost in the mist. He is the supreme commander of a fleet of 50 black-hulled ships, manned by the fierce and fiercely loyal Myrmidon. Imagine the sight of these vessels lined up along the shore, their long oars rising and falling in perfect rhythmic and hypnotic unison, carving a white path through the salt-crested waves. As the commander, Achilles stands at the very prow of the leading ship, the wind catching his golden hair and the salt spray stinging his skin. He is a figure of absolute and unwavering determination, a star that has finally found its constellation in the sky. The transition from the quiet palace to the vast moving city of the fleet is handled with a majestic and heavy slowness. Each ship is a world of its own, a community of men bound by an ancient code of honor and the shared steady pulse of the open sea. The rhythmic thump-thump of the rowing master's drum becomes the heartbeat of this new life, a steady and hypnotic cadence that leads them toward the iron gates of history. But the most profound restoration for his spirit comes not from the ships or the cold steel, but from the quiet figure standing beside him on the deck. Patroclus has returned to his side, the steady, grounding shadow to his brilliant and volatile light. Their reunion is not marked by loud celebrations or grand speeches, but by a quiet, shared breath of relief that speaks louder than any words. As the fleet sails toward the distant, shimmering shores of Troy, the two friends find a moment of true peace amidst the gathering of the greatest army the world has ever seen. They stand together at the wooden railing, watching the sun dip slowly below the waves in a blaze of amber. And they reminisce about the deep woods of Thea and the giant oak trees of their shared childhood. They speak of the cool mountain streams and the wise, quiet lessons of Chiron, using these memories as an anchor to find peace before the inevitable storm of battle begins. In the presence of Patroclus, Achilles is not just a commander or a terrifying prophecy. He is a man who is loved, and that love is the true, hidden source of his undefeated spirit. They find a profound stillness in each other's company, a sanctuary of the heart that even the coming 10 years of war cannot hope to breach. Feel the deep satisfaction of this fulfillment settling into your own spirit now, like a heavy anchor finding the sand. Just as Achilles found his true and honest purpose in the grip of the sword, you are finding your true purpose in the absolute surrender to rest. The determination of the hero is not a restless or nervous energy, but a steady, calm, and heavy alignment. with the path that lies ahead. You are moving with the fleet, carried by the same rhythmic, powerful, and ancient currents that lead the 50 black ships toward the horizon. The bed beneath you is as steady and reliable as the deck of a great vessel, and the darkness of your room is as vast, quiet, and protective as the Aegean night. You have no more disguises to maintain for the world, and no more roles to play for others. You are exactly where you are meant to be, drifting in the quiet wake of a story that has finally found its true momentum. The world of Troy is waiting far across the water, but for now, there is only the vast open water and the silent company of a loyal and trusted friend. 10 long years of glory and undefeated spirit followed this momentous choice, a decade where the name of Achilles becomes a legend that hums in the very wind itself. During these years, he remains the untouchable and brilliant star of the Greek army, a warrior who moves through the chaos and the noise of war with the grace of a dancer and the terrifying power of a god. But even in the heat of the conflict, he carries the coolness of the sea and the memory of the deep woods within him, a private garden of the mind that no enemy can enter. The transition from the beginning of the war to its long, epic middle is like a slow turning tide, a period of sustained strength and unwavering, heavy focus. The glory he wins is not a loud or jarring thing. It is a steady golden light that defines an entire era of human history. As you sink deeper and deeper into the soft, welcoming layers of sleep, let the image of the undefeated hero be your steady guide through the darkness. You are safe in the long, storied years of his legend, protected by the heavy shield of his story and the steady, rhythmic pulse of the history that continues to unfold around you. The fleet has landed, the camps are built on the sand, and the 10 years of brilliance have begun. Your breath is slow, your heart is at peace, and the iron gates of the past are open for you to enter and rest. The golden era of the 10-year war, once so bright and seemingly eternal in its glory, has suddenly been pierced by a cold and jagged shadow that no bronze shield can deflect. In the swirling dust and the suffocating heat of the battlefield, the unthinkable has occurred. Patroclus, the sole brother, the steady shadow, and the absolute anchor of Achilles' heart, has been lost to the darkness. The news does not come as a mere message. It arrives like a physical blow that shatters the very foundations of the hero's world. For the first time in his legendary life, the invincibility of Achilles feels like a hollow and bitter joke. What use is the skin of a god if the heart beneath it is breaking into 1,000 silent pieces? The glory of the Greeks, the black ships lined upon the sand, and even the high, unreachable walls of Troy all fade into insignificance as the weight of a singular, devastating grief takes hold. Achilles, the greatest warrior of the age, the man who once shook the earth with his very stride, collapses in the red dust of the shore. His cries are not those of a commander, but of a soul that has been torn in two, a sound that carries across the wine-dark sea and echoes in the silent, ancient grottos of the deep. In his absolute and crushing despair, the hero turns away from the camps of men and the hollow noise of the army. He stumbles toward the edge of the water, where the waves lap gently against the white pebbles in a rhythm that has remained unchanged and faithful since his earliest childhood. He falls to his knees at the tide's shifting edge, his hands buried deep in the cold, wet sand, and he calls out for the only sanctuary he has ever truly known in this life. He calls for his mother. He does not call for the powerful nymph of the prophecy or the distant goddess of the sea. He calls for the gentle hand that once held him by the heel, the soft voice that once sang him to sleep in the silver mist of the morning. The sea, sensing the profound and heavy agony of its favorite son, begins to churn and stir in sympathy. From the turquoise depths, a figure emerges, not with a startling splash, but with the fluid, silent grace of a rising moon. Thetis is there, her silver blue robes trailing like smoke in the water, her eyes filled with a clear reflection of his own immeasurable pain. She does not ask what has happened. She is a mother of the tides, and she feels the ebb and flow of his spirit as if it were her own heartbeat. Thetis moves toward him, her feet leaving no tracks on the soft sand, and she gathers her grown son into her immortal cooling arms. Achilles, the man who could topple kings and defy destiny, becomes a child again in the safety of her embrace. He buries his face in the cool silk of her shoulder, his great, powerful frame shaking with the force of his silent sobs. This is the moment where the heavy armor is finally stripped away and the raw vulnerability of the human soul is allowed to breathe and be seen. Thetis leads him to a quiet, sheltered spot beneath a cluster of salt-sprayed rocks, far from the prying eyes of the Greeks, and she pulls him down to rest against her. She begins to rub his back in long, slow, and rhythmic circles, her touch carrying the cooling essence of the deep, dark ocean. Each movement of her hand is a message of healing, a physical anchor that tries to pull him back from the dark abyss of his sorrow. The air around them grows heavy, cool, and still, the noise of the war replaced by the steady, hypnotic hush of the breaking waves and the soft maternal hum of the nymph. As she holds him, Thetis begins to whisper into the salt-scented air, her voice a low and melodic vibration that settles deep into his very bones. She does not offer false hope or empty, hollow promises of a victory that no longer matters. She speaks the hard and beautiful truth that she has carried in her heart since before his first breath. She whispers that fate is an inevitable and powerful current, a river that flows toward a sea we cannot yet see. She tells him that grief is the price we pay for a love that was truly and deeply lived, and that the pain he feels is a testament to the absolute magnitude of the light he once held in his hands. "You were lucky, my son," she murmurs, her breath like a cool evening breeze against his fevered brow. "You were lucky to have a bond that redefined the entire world. Many kings live for 1,000 years and never know the warmth of a single soul that truly understands them. You held that sun in your hands for a decade, and that light can never truly be extinguished, even by the long shadows of the Styx." Her words are not meant to fix the broken heart, but to cradle it, allowing the sharpness of the loss to be blunted by the vastness of the perspective she offers from the deep. Achilles lies there for what feels like a peaceful eternity, his head resting in his mother's lap as the sun begins its slow, majestic descent into the sea. In the rhythmic motion of her hands and the steady, calming cadence of her voice, he begins to reflect on the beauty of the bond he was lucky to have. He remembers the quiet, late-night whispers under the covers in Phthia, the shared smiles in the golden olive groves, and the way Patroclus always knew what he was thinking before he even spoke a word. He realizes that while the body of his friend is gone, the essence of their connection has become a part of the very air he breathes and the water he touches. The bitterness of the grief begins to soften, replaced by a profound and heavy sense of gratitude that settles in his chest. He was the star, but Patroclus was the vast sky that allowed him to shine so brightly. In this state of total surrender, he finds a temporary and necessary peace, a grounding that allows his heart rate to slow and his mind to find a moment of absolute, healing stillness. He is safe here, at the boundary of the sea and the land, protected by the unconditional love of the mother, who saw his glory coming and loved him anyway. The downward regulation of his spirit is nearly complete. The heavy weight of his muscles, the steady, rhythmic rise and fall of his chest, and the cooling sensation of the sea mist on his skin, all signal a return to a state of profound equilibrium. He is no longer the volatile, angry warrior of the battlefield. He is a soul that has been washed clean by the salt, the wind, and the tears. Thetis continues her rhythmic ministrations, her presence a wall of silver light between him and the harsh demands of the world outside. She knows that this peace is a fragile thing, a brief and precious interlude before the final movement of his story begins. She watches the first stars appear in the indigo sky above, knowing that her son's name will soon join them in the eternal constellations. But, for now, in the velvet darkness of the shore, he is just hers. He is the boy from the grotto, the child of the golden childhood, resting in the only arms that can hold the entirety of his grief without breaking. As the night deepens and the world falls into a respectful silence, a new sense of crystalline clarity begins to emerge from the stillness. Achilles sits up slowly, his eyes clear and his spirit stilled by the maternal embrace. He looks out over the dark, shimmering water, feeling the strength of the Styx and the warmth of the sun-baked stones within him once more. The grief has not left him, but it has changed its shape. It has become a cold, sharp, and necessary blade of justice. He realizes that there is one final mission he must undertake, a final act to honor the memory of the light he lost. It is not an act of blind, chaotic rage, but a measured and inevitable pursuit of balance and honor. He seeks a final justice before his own story reaches its inevitable conclusion, a way to ensure that the name of Patroclus is honored as much as his own. Thetis watches him with a mixture of immortal pride and mortal sorrow, knowing that the time for hiding is over. She kisses his brow one last time, her touch leaving a lingering scent of sea foam, ancient salt, and starlight. The transition toward the end is approaching now, a final journey into the very heart of the legend. But before he returns to the camp, before he dons the new and magnificent armor forged by the gods themselves, he takes one last long breath of the peaceful night air. He is grounded, he is healed, and he is ready to meet his fate. Feel your own heart rate aligning with this sense of calm and steady determination. The maternal warmth of the nymph is still around you, a protective and heavy shield that ensures your own rest is deep, restorative, and undisturbed. You are safe in the quiet wake of the hero's healing, drifting in the silent space where the mother's love meets the son's destiny. The waves are whispering secrets to the shore, the stars are watching over the world, and the final justice is waiting on the distant horizon. But for tonight, in this moment, there is only the cooling sand, the rhythmic sea, and the absolute beautiful peace of a soul that has finally come home to itself. We leave the shore now, moving slowly toward the final mission, held in the soft and eternal grip of the mother's song. Your mind is quiet, your body is heavy, and the story is leading you into the deepest part of the night. The fires of the long, exhausting war are dimming now, turning from the fierce orange of rage into the low, pulsing red of a dying hearth. The great storm of Achilles' fury, which had shaken the very walls of Troy and stirred the gods themselves, has finally spent its energy. In the deep, velvet hours of the night, the Greek camp is a place of heavy shadows and the rhythmic, distant sound of the Aegean tide. Within the private sanctuary of his tent, the air is thick with the scent of old cedar and the cooling salt of the sea. Achilles sits in the darkness, his powerful hands resting empty upon his knees. The bronze armor of the gods cast aside like a heavy skin he no longer needs to wear. The justice he sought has been fulfilled, yet he finds that the victory does not taste like honey. It tastes like the quiet, gray ash of a long burning fire. The silence in the tent is absolute, a profound and heavy space where the hero is no longer a commander or a star, but a man alone with the weight of his own soul. It is in this sacred, quiet hour that the heavy flap of the tent is pulled back, and an old man enters, cloaked in the dust of the road, and the dignity of 1,000 sorrows. It is King Priam, the father of Hector, the enemy who has lost everything. He does not come with a sword or a demand for blood. He comes as a father, kneeling in the dirt to kiss the very hands that took his son away. In this moment, the hard protective shell around Achilles' heart, forged in the Styx and tempered by a decade of war, begins to crack and dissolve. He looks down at the white hair of the old king, and he does not see an enemy. He sees his own father, Peleus, waiting on a distant shore for a son who will never return. He sees the universal face of grief, a reflection of the same bottomless ocean of sorrow that he himself has been drowning in since the loss of Patroclus. The warrior energy, the aristeia that once defined him, simply evaporates, leaving behind a profound and liquid empathy that connects him to every soul that has ever suffered. They begin to weep together, the young hero and the old king, their voices joining in a low, rhythmic lament that fills the small space of the tent. They weep for Hector and for Patroclus, for the senselessness of the long years of war, and for the countless lives that have been scattered like dry leaves in an autumn gale. Their tears are not a sign of weakness, but a final, necessary washing of the spirit. As they sit together in the dim light, sharing a simple meal and a cup of wine, the hatred that had fueled the war for 10 long years simply ceases to exist. It is replaced by a strange, quiet inner peace, a realization that beneath the armor and the titles, all men are bound by the same fragile threads of love and loss. Achilles feels the tension in his shoulders and the fire in his blood finally cooling, turning into a state of absolute heavy rest. He has let go of the burden of the hero, finding a grace that is far more powerful than any victory on the battlefield. In this deep state of surrender, as the old king departs back toward the city under a truce of silence, Achilles remains in his chair, feeling a profound wave of gratitude for the life he was given. He reflects on the immense beauty of the bonds he was lucky enough to hold. He thinks of the silver blue light of his mother's grotto, the golden meadows where he ran with Patroclus, and even the silk-draped halls of Skyros where he hid among the lilies. He realizes that his life was not a tragedy of fate, but a masterpiece of love. Every moment of warmth, every shared glance, and every rhythmic breath of his youth was a gift that he was privileged to carry. The safe harbor he sought throughout the story is no longer a physical place. It is the state of his own heart, softened and made whole by the power of empathy. He is no longer fighting the current. He is the current, moving peacefully toward the vast, starlit ocean of the end. The final descent is beginning now, a slow and beautiful drift into the ultimate quiet. The night air is growing cooler, and the stars above Troy are burning with a clear, steady light that seems to invite him home. Achilles walks out onto the sand one last time, looking toward the walls of the city and the horizon of the sea. He knows that the prophecy is reaching its final line, that the arrow of destiny is already in the air, seeking the one tiny spot of his mortality. But as he feels the sharp, sudden sting of the mark being found, there is no fear, no struggle, and no regret. There is only a profound sense of finding. The arrow is not an end. It is a key. It is the moment where the golden star finally merges with the velvet sky. He feels his body becoming light, the heavy bronze of his legend dissolving into the silver mist of the Aegean, returning to the element from which he came. Feel your own heart aligning with this final, beautiful acceptance. The warrior within you is laying down his shield, his work finished, and his spirit at peace. Just as Achilles let go of his hatred to find a quiet inner grace, you are letting go of the day to find a deep, restorative rest. The story is no longer a narrative of conflict. It is a lullaby of starlight and salt spray. You are drifting on the same tide that carries the hero home. A slow and rhythmic movement that requires no effort and holds no danger. The bed beneath you is the soft sand of the shore, and the darkness of your room is the protective cloak of the mother nymph, wrapping you in an eternal, healing silence. The war is over, the prophecy is fulfilled, and the light is returning to the source. As the image of Achilles fades into the constellations, replaced by the pale silver glow of the moon on the water, let your mind become as still as the deep sea. There are no more words to hear, no more paths to walk, and no more names to remember. You are part of the vast, breathing history of the world. A single drop in the ocean of time, safe and cherished in the arms of the night. The final justice has been found in the power of forgiveness, and the final rest has been earned through the power of love. The waves are lapping at the shore, the stars are humming a wordless song, and the hero is at peace. You are there with him, floating in the golden haze of a memory that will never fade, anchored in the absolute certainty that you are home. Sleep now, in the wake of the legend. Sleep in the warmth of the mother's grotto. Sleep in the silence of the star. The story is finished. The hero is resting, and the world is quiet. Your breath is a whisper. Your heart is a slow drum, and the night is yours. As the final arrow finds its mark in the story, let it be the signal for your own journey into the deepest, softest part of the dream. There is no fear. There is only the light. There is only the drift. There is only peace. The long storied day of the hero has finally reached its golden twilight, and the fires of Troy are nothing more than a faint, flickering memory on the distant shore of the mind. Achilles does not pass away with a cry of pain or a shout of defiance. He leaves the world with a long, slow sigh of absolute and total readiness. It is the sound of a weary traveler finally catching sight of his own front door, the sound of a heavy anchor finally settling into the soft, white sand of the seabed. The tension that had defined his muscles for 10 years of war simply evaporates, turning his great frame into something as light and as ethereal as the morning fog. He is letting go of the bronze, letting go of the glory, and letting go of the heavy weight of the prophecy. He is stepping out of the history books and back into the timeless, rhythmic pulse of the nature that birthed him. There is no fear in this transition, only a profound sense of coming home to a place he never truly left. His spirit does not fly to a dark or lonely place. Instead, it returns directly to the silver mist where his mother's song first began. You can imagine him now, dissolving into the cool, salt-scented air of the Aegean, his essence mingling with the spray of the waves and the light of the moon. He is becoming one with the grottos of his youth, one with the mountains of his education, and one with the deep turquoise silence of the ocean floor. Thetis is there, waiting in the luminous depths, her song rising to meet him in a harmony that has no end. The story has come full circle, moving from the water to the fire and back to the water once more. The infinite ocean is not a void. It is a vast, warm, and crowded hall of stories, where every life is a wave that eventually returns to the deep, carrying its experiences back to the collective heart of the world. He is safe, he is whole, he is at rest as the image of the hero fully dissolves into the starlight. You realize with a soft, quiet clarity that your own dream journey is just beginning. The story of Achilles was the vessel that carried you away from the noise of your day. But now that you have reached the shore of sleep, the vessel is no longer needed. You are standing at the edge of your own infinite ocean, a vast and peaceful realm where time has no meaning, and the only law is the rhythm of your own breath. The viral loop of the narrative begins to turn within you. Just as Achilles returned to the start of his song, You are returning to the start of your own internal landscape. The stories we tell are not endings, but doorways, and you are currently stepping through the most beautiful doorway of all. You are the hero of the silence that follows the words, the explorer of the dreams that wait beneath the heavy blankets of the night. The warm, protective water from the very start of our journey now returns to cradle your mind. In a state of absolute liquid comfort, feel the bed beneath you transforming into that same soft white sand of the Aegean shore, supporting every inch of your body with a gentle and unwavering strength. The darkness of your room is no longer a void, but the silver blue mist of the Nereid's grotto, wrapping around you like a cloak of silk and salt spray. The rhythm of the ocean, the slow, steady hush of the incoming tide, and the long, dragging shh of the receding water is now the only sound you need to hear. It is a lullaby that has been playing since the dawn of time, a song that promises you that everything is exactly as it should be. Your heart is beating in time with the earth, your thoughts are drifting like seaweed in a gentle current, and your spirit is as calm as the sea at midnight. There is nothing left for you to do, nowhere left for you to go, and nothing left for you to remember. The names of the kings and the clatter of the bronze are gone, leaving behind only the profound and heavy peace of a soul that is fully present in its own rest. You are melting into the mattress, melting into the shadows, and melting into the infinite. The boundaries between the story and your dreams are becoming thin and transparent, allowing the golden light of Thea to bleed into the landscapes of your sleep. You are safe. You are cherished. You are deep within the sanctuary of the night. The maternal warmth of Thetis, the loyalty of Patroclus, and the peace of the softening heart are all parts of you now, seeds of comfort that will grow into the dreams of your night. Sweet dreams, weary traveler, until we meet again in the eternal hall of stories. The stars are watching over you, the moon is guiding your path, and the infinite ocean is holding you close. There is only the breath, there is only the rhythm, there is only the deep, dark, and beautiful sleep. Let the waves carry you away. Let the mist hide you. Let the story become the dream. The journey is complete, and the rest is absolute. You are home. You are home. You are home. The water is warm. The night is long. The peace is forever. Sleep, sleep, sleep.